For the past 10 years, Concert SA has played a crucial role in keeping live music alive and also ensuring that the future of live music is in good hands. And life after the global pandemic has left live music in limbo, even though it is starting to pick up. As their quest to continue to keep the music alive, Concert SA has now released a documentary by Lloyd Ross. It features musicians Msaki and Neo Muyanga, who obviously showcase their dedication to preserve music at large. And so to join us for this discussion, Lloyd is joining us virtually. Good morning, Lloyd. Thanks for your time in the SABC at this hour.
No, that's fine. I'm very happy to be here. Hello to everybody.
Well, good morning to you too. Perhaps you could speak to the inspiration behind all of this, you creating this documentary that really focuses on the investment of live music by Concert SA at large.
Well, I myself actually was involved in music for many years in the 80s and 90s. I ran a record company called Shifty Records, and I was very into the scene then. And then mid-90s or so, I started making documentaries. And then I've been working with Andre Leroux from Concert SA and Samro at that stage for quite a few years doing films for them. And he asked me to do this film. And for me, it was very exciting to do because I had lost touch with what is happening here musically. And all of a sudden, it was a good opportunity to actually view. I think they did 350 virtual concerts during COVID, just helping to keep the music alive during that period. And I discovered an incredible wealth of music that was still happening here. So I was very happy to do it, and that's how I got involved in it.
And so fast forward to the creation of the documentary. I mean, there are a plethora of artists that you could have chosen from. Perhaps you could speak to how you chose Neo and Msaki as the artists to really feature in this film.
Well, it was Andre's choice, really, and I'm very happy for his choice because, I mean, Neo's an elder statesman of South African music, and Msaki, I mean, she's been around a bit, but I mean, she's one of the most incredibly talented performers that I've actually seen out of South Africa. I'm not just performers, I think composer as well. So much so that she's like, I mean, I think her ability has made me want to record again. So that's really saying something. And I guess they're the two people that are spearheading, you hear a bit of their story throughout the documentary, but I think it's really everybody that you see during this film that is so impressive. Obviously I went through a lot of the music, a lot of the concerts and that kind of thing. Some of them were actually not that great, but there were some that just really knocked me over backwards. They're really great bands, but also specifically singers. I've always loved singers. A music producer, I recorded Vusi Malasela, and it's like a very unique voices like that. And I discovered people like, there's a guy called Yato that's got incredible range, right from very deep sort of baritone through to almost operatic kind of soprano voice. And then there's a man from Cape Town called Mene. He was incredible as well. Really great compositions and performance.
I mean, these artists, these performers are part of the fabric of our society over the past few years, in our democratic dispensation, at least, if you're going to look at it through that, tenure. And I wonder, sifting through all this, footage and all these experiences, I mean, any memorable moments or experiences that stood out for you whilst keeping the music alive?
Well, I think so. I mean, for me, I'm still just completely amazed at the fortitude of, first of all, artists in this country, but specifically musicians. I mean, it really is a tough ride. I mean, it's not an easy career path to choose, and especially in a country where music is so little supported by the actual state. Organizations like Concert SA, I mean, they're funded essentially by foreign, well, they were funded by Norway for, I think, 10 years. And that's a testament to how little support they get here. I mean, that support that Concert SA gave them was probably some of the only support they got through COVID, apart from maybe a couple of sort of like very well-known artists might have got some sort of state funding. But with these guys, the 20 or 30 grand they got to put on a concert was an inspiration for them to continue. And also, when I was recording music, it was actually worse in the 80s. I recorded a lot of political and social comment music, and there was obviously no support for that. No radio play. It was banned off radio. But those people still continued, and I found that spirit still there. So I was highly impressed, basically, with the talent firstly, and also the fortitude of the people that were making that music while I was making the documentary.
I mean, speaking about the support on many, or the lack of support on many fronts, and also that indomitable spirit that you allude to by the artists and performers at large, what would have been some of the challenges incurred in the filmmaking process? If you're looking at the hours also that was put in, the treatment plan, I mean, how would you have overcome that through that process? For people who don't really know how this is all put together.
You mean documentary filmmaking?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, in this instance.
Yeah, okay, so this instance was really obviously a lot of archive. I did a couple of interviews. I shot a fantastic conversation between Msaki, Neo, and Andre from, formerly from Samro and now from Concerts SA. And it was that kind of thing that actually gave the energy to the film, really, because you need to, I mean, you can have a whole lot of clips of people playing music, but you need to, have characters and personalities in it that actually go through. And they were a fine choice for that. It's like a skeleton of the film, really. And then a couple of other interviews as well. But, most of the time it's sitting there for hours on end, going through footage, and then you have to it's like doing a very big jigsaw puzzle. Find a way to put it together that makes sense, that carries your interest through as a viewer through to the end of it. So that's what I always aim for. I usually try and start with something that really draws people in, almost like an overture in the beginning that gives the energy and some of the things that people can expect to experience during the film. And then hopefully that will carry them on to watch the film and hopefully learn from it, essentially. It's nice to be able to teach people through the things that their entertainment. Hopefully people will learn from this film how difficult it is to be a musician in South Africa. Okay. The kind of anyway, that's kind of what I hope that this film achieves.
Okay, because I actually wanted to delve into that, given, the conversations that are set to erupt from this and really what transpired in this process, the healing, the reverence for the artists and the music at large, our history as well. What do you want people to walk away with this documentary, the impact that this is going to also have on the music industry at large, given where the world is also going, with this wave of change?
Well, in this sort of increasingly kind of isolating in a way world due to social media to a large extent that we live in, I'm hoping people this is what musicians need. Musicians need you to get out there and go and watch them playing live, because that is what they feed off. That is where they earn most of their money. That is also where they get inspired to continue to do what they do, to write songs, to perform them, and just to get the energy. They need the energy from, the people that are out there paying to see them. The venues need them to be there too. So it's a whole ecosystem there that needs to be supported by audience. And that's what I hope this film will do. I hope people will see that the wealth of the talent that we have in this country that is available for them to go and watch. Well, did I answer your question?
Yes, absolutely, because you're speaking about that energy, and I'm so glad you've spoken to, the ways in which this work ultimately changed your perspective on the importance of live music, really reinvigorating that spirit again, and the role of artists in the industry at large, and the lack of support at this point, but really where to from here. As we look at some of your other projects, your other collaborations, because that is also what art is about. It's about that fostering those relations at large. What else are you excited about? After keeping the Music Alive documentary, what else can we expect from you?
Well, I'm doing the Johnny Clegg film, which is a really exciting thing for me, obviously. I was a friend of Johnny's back in the day, and we started shooting some together in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I hope to complete that and actually really give a good account of Johnny's life. And what he stood for in this country. I mean, he's a completely unique individual, inspiring, and essentially that's the kind of thing that I kind of look for, is an inspiring story, and I follow it, and I try and make the best possible story for people to actually watch and plug into, I guess, with that. And then there's another film I really want to make, which is basically about the history of South African popular music. South Africa, I think, has got one of the most variegated, diverse genres of music of any country in the world that we produce. And some of that's got to do with, I think, the the SABC's policies of old, where they actually sort of like they slotted, you had to be do Venda, you had to do like sort of Xhosa or Zulu or English or Afrikaans. That actually helped to make the music more diverse, funnily enough. And those things are really interesting to go and look at now and see where we've ended up, I think, from all those influences that have come into our music over the years. Right from the 1936 when South Africa did their first local recordings, right to, I want to take it till the new dispensation, 94. That's
Well,
for me the most interesting time. Yeah.
and there's unity in that diversity. Music is a language we all speak and understand. So Lloyd, I'm going to leave the conversation there, but we obviously continue with your work and your legacy projects. Thank you for joining us at this hour. Keeping the Music Alive documentary, of course, director Lloyd Ross really just joining us to chat about the documentary, what inspired it, concerts, SA at large, and also the investment into live music through the eyes of artists, featuring artists like Msaki and Neo Muyanga at large. Again, thank you to Lloyd for joining us at this hour.